ready for a Tommy Turbo Masterclass. Tameless Tuesday is here. And the boys are hard as a rock. Don't be a weak-gutted dog. Leave that for Jamin Salmon. Get ready for the best SuperCoach show on the planet. It's so good, it's better than Lego. You're now listening to the SuperCoach Experience Podcast. Here's your host, Brandon Savage.
Hello and welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Jamin Salmons. And as you heard in that intro, the boys are hard as a rock. Well, it couldn't be far more from the truth. I think I'm as soft as I have ever been. Joined with me today is the 2021 SuperCoach champion, which seems like it was a long time ago now. Timmy Moody. How are you, Timmy?
Yeah, I guess we can always measure how long ago it was based on the age of your daughter and her
That's true.
blossom into life. Good week for me, though. 14.26. Sucks that there wasn't a great deal on the line to be able to take that 14.26 to use. I'm in a head-to-head where it's the second tier of like that bottom 8 playing for finals.
And you've got cash riding on it as
well.
Yeah,
the funny thing is I can only win my buy-in back, which is $300, which ends up still only being, if I win that back, that's only 10% of my initial buy-in for the year. So bit grim.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I scored 12.57. Pretty shit week, and it came to Sunday, and I was I wanted someone exciting to play, and I could only really have a second row come in. I was gonna go Marju to Campbell Graham because I just felt it was a bit risky. I used my last trade on Jacob Preston to Hudson Young. I was just trying to, just try something, get a better score. It wasn't to be, but I got in.
At least you didn't steal Marju, though.
Yeah, exactly. I still got in a few cashies with 12.57, so I'm on top of the world at the moment.
Yeah, no need to rub it in, mate. Thanks.
Well, it's absolute carnage. TLT has just hit, and obviously a lot of popular players are out. And I guess we're going to talk a bit about that. Firstly, Ruben Garrick. News dropped today that he's out this week and potentially next week. He's someone I would have looked at potentially getting in as a high upside centre wing, or with all these fullbacks just out at the moment, I would have even considered selling a Teddy or Latrell team, considering he's got the Bulldogs this week and he's got a pretty easy matchup next week in the Tigers. So that's a massive blow.
Yeah, with a few of these players that are out, it's starting to impact some sides more than others. I've sort of not been touched by it too much. Only really Teddy's gone down for me. But yeah, that kind of threw me.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
Just testing the audio.
Yeah, no, that's all good. Sav's just doing live tests on as we go. I think though, some teams are going to really, really cop it, and they're not going to have trades, and that's going to be kind of beneficial to the teams that have depth or have trades up their sleeve or haven't been hit by the carnage to sort of make up a bit of ranks there. So fingers crossed. I'll
tell you what as well, people even with trades are going to struggle just because there are so many popular players out. Jackson Ford has been benched as well. So even a lot of people have him on their pine as depth. You can't really use him if he's coming off the bench. So it's absolute carnage. And even if you've got 2 trades, you might still be in a bit of trouble. Are you fielding 17?
Yeah, I've got 19 green lights, so I'm pretty chuffed. I've had no trades for about a month. So I've held on pretty good, and I've got no depth really as well. It's I don't have much backup. The guys that are going out each week are usually the guys, and I've got 2 backup.
I have no trades left as of Sunday, and I've got Teddy out this week. I've also got Ford on the bench. I've got Moses out, Cody Walker out, but I'm hoping most of these guys, barring Moses, will be back in round 27.
So that's where I'm a bit blessed. I sold off all my bunnies just in case I did make these head-to-head finals, which I didn't.
Pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I'm in a good spot because of the other carnage now. I can.
You got in Dallin and Chance. Yeah. And on the weekend,
Chance come back, which didn't look like he was going to come back after. A lot of people were offloading him, which is fair game after all the other HIAs that have happened recently where people have had to miss the season.
And even Cody
When
Walker,
they've
you
had
sold.
3 or more, I should say.
Even Cody Walker, you sold, which, I mean, he was someone I was considering selling on the weekend, but I just thought the Rabbitohs would come out and do something. Like, that meme of the Simpsons character with the stick?
Well, we were talking about this. I actually thought the Knights would be up for this one. I didn't think they were going to win. I thought they could win. I favoured the Bunnies. I just thought with everything at stake, they kind of needed it a bit more. I thought they've probably got a bit more big game experience, a few extra big game players. But
that's it.
Yeah, it didn't happen for them.
All right. Just moving on. We've got a comment here on the Facebook. Absolute carnage. It is pretty carnage, but I feel like it's just because it's a few popular players. Like, if you plan for this period, you should be okay.
Finals time as well, though. It's like head-to-head finals. It is annoying, especially if you do have no trade. And it can, if you've got, say, Teddy and Latrell, you're in all sorts.
Yeah.
And there's other combinations.
There are people that do. Teddy, he was on fire on the weekend, finally repaid the faith.
Yeah, it sucks that he's gone down, but it's nice to get a little something from him.
Would have been nice to have him this week, but we'll talk through it. I want to talk on some topics. Obviously, a lot of people know trade, so if you are listening, you are a hardcore SuperCoach, and we really appreciate you. But SuperCoach, I want to bring a scenario across to you, and you got to tell me what you prefer. So I did ask you in the car earlier. You had some time to think about it, but would you prefer to be, around that top 100 all year and pretty much by the end of the year fall off because you made certain choices that just haven't gone your way? Or would you prefer to be coasting along at about 1,000 all year and then finish like 500th? 500th in
how much
the last
is the
2
fall
weeks.
off when you say you've been in the top 100 for all that time? How much is the fall off?
Like 2,000th maximum way back.
Well, I reckon it's an individual
Approach.
person. Like if I'd never made the top 1,000 or something before, I'd really want to just have that top 500 finish where that second scenario where I've sort of come home strong, been out of the mix all year, but I've sort of just got to 500. That'd feel like a nice achievement because you gradually build and you've got to as good as where you pretty much could for that season. And then you think, I just got to make a couple extra better choices next year and improve on that. But then from the same scenario, I think you kind of want to be around the mix and know that you can get that high up to make the plays to potentially have, given you a chance to win. And the chances that you may have made to fall out and drop to 2,000 in that scenario you're speaking about, could have gone your way and could have been the difference between you.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked this is because obviously all season I've been ranked pretty well, and I've fallen off massively this last 2 weeks, and it's not by not having depth or anything because I've had depth. I've just picked the wrong players. Like I haven't prioritized getting in Fafita, Ponga, etc. But I haven't got back in Hines as well, so that's hurt me as well. The reason I asked this is because I'm still quite happy with how I've played it and how I've approached the season. I think if I looked back on this season, I would change a few things. Maybe use a trade less or two during that bye period to make sure I was able to get this, a Fafita back in or a Hines back in, because I think that would put me on a level playing field with everyone else. But I don't regret it because I really feel like you do need to get on top early. And you do need to capitalize because look at these guys up the top. They dominated early and they just went on with it. I don't think you can make a play from outside the top, 5,000 after 15 rounds.
I think Timmy Williams, when he came second, had that approach where he was kind of...
He did do that. And then it was just weeks after weeks. But
I think there's definitely... You could do it both ways. I think you'd feel more, maybe you might have more confidence in yourself if you're around the mix closer and, for the whole time. But, I reckon the most important thing, I guess, is where you actually, if you're an overall player, where you actually finish is the end result. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So I think that's ultimately most important.
Yep.
But there's definitely no shame in, being up and around the mix and then dropping off because you've gone hard. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like
I might say guilty. I just went way too hard early.
yeah. Well,
No, I've had a bad year, but I was up there at one point.
It's not all doom and gloom. Like I'm 1500th at the moment. It's just because I started so well. It seems disappointing. Like it seems like a disappointing finish.
You've got high standards as well. So
yeah.
for other people that are listening and sitting there thinking, "Oh, this guy's in 1500th and he's beating himself up,"
Yeah.
it's you've played
Yeah,
for a long time
exactly.
and you've spent a lot of time and
the last 2 weeks I've made just shit decisions because like overall is out the window for me because I don't care if I make the top 1,000. I ranked 69th last year, so I'm just like, all right, I got to take a different approach this year to try and go that step further. Hasn't worked out. It's gone the other way this year, but
you've got to try things and then you can adjust and learn from this and take a little bit of an experience from last year, a little bit of experience from this year, try and mould those together. And
that's it. And like the first year of all these buys, all these buy rounds, I think myself, I'll only learn from it. But that being said, a lot of other people are going to learn from it. So the playing field's going to be harder. And don't forget, like more people are playing seriously as well. Like more
it's awesome though. The better the competition.
Yeah, it's very good. Very annoying though because it's hard to push for them green arrows. I also think pushing for a strong start at the start of the year, it's got to be the right moves as well. I don't think every year it can fall into place for you to be able to go these pod moves. So one move that helped me early in the season was when Reece Walsh was going off. I didn't get him. I got in Latrell, and like I was hurting from not having Reece Walsh, but then I captained Latrell 1 week and went up in rankings, and no one had Latrell for the period I had him. But that opportunity was there to take. It might not be there every that point of the season or the point you want to strike. So I think you've really got to be calculated with it because I thought coming into the back end of the season,
not force things.
Yeah,
play eyes up, SuperCoach, but sort of not. Yeah, force plays that aren't on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I was coming into the back end of the season pretty happy with my rank and just thought, okay, I'll coast week in, week out and just try and strike little weeks here and there.
Yeah.
Aim for a top 50 finish, and that was the death of me. I think you've got to attack every point of the year.
Your hand keeps going in front of the camera, bro.
All right, we got Paycheck on YouTube, was ranked 15K last year, but listening to your podcast, I'm currently ranked 3,000. Your content and calls have helped me a lot this year. Keep up the good work.
Nice. Well, we got a shout out from the Dreamboat that works here at DM.
Yeah.
He said he's in the grand final for his Christmas
family league.
Yeah, puts it down to a bit of the help that we've.
I can't lie. Anytime I see, we've got a few cashies for the SuperCoach Experience page, and every time I see someone with AFB in that page, in one of them leagues that we're versing, I just think, okay, you listen to the podcast, don't you? Yeah, like because he was such a
niche. He was a bit niche at the time.
He was very niche, but like you can't fault him as a purchase. Like
I can't believe he was so not a thing that anyone was considering at the time, and then just came like, especially when he's got the pedigree. Like he's been a good.
I'm confident in saying that I'll never get a call like that ever again because it was just so
weird.
It was
because you were tossing up between him having you early at a price point to try and fund something else, and it was just the fact that he turned into a gun for you was amazing. It was
amazing.
a happy mistake, I guess.
Yeah, and we can't. I was always planning on selling him, but we can't talk about that every week because I feel like I just keep bringing it up every week. It's just because I can't believe it. Like it's just how lucky you can get sometimes, and a decision like that probably helped me get to the rank I did get to at the start of the season. And
you killed it with the props because you had Payne Haas, and then you went on to AFB that was also then killing it as well.
He was bottomed out at that point too. Yeah. You know, that week I bought him, he scored a try, I scored 90 points. He lost money that week. Like that's how grim it was getting for him, and just since then 700k. But Timmy, there are some more outs in the team list. Tedesco, Latrell, and all the Bunnies players are out. Obviously, a bit of carnage. Schuster dropped. What's like? Obviously, yourself, you're not in many head-to-heads that really matter.
Yep.
at the moment. But if you're someone who there's a lot on the line, you got maybe one trade left, who are you thinking about with these sorts of options? A lot of people do have Teddy and Latrell. So go there first. What's the best option for you? Personally, I would have considered Garrick.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe. Oh, it's tough because I haven't really been thinking about it. Well, the thing we were talking about in the car, I want to sort of bring up is Pappy. What's the deal with him?
He's named on the extended bench.
And Melbourne are kind of late in the round.
No, he plays quite early. I think it's like the fourth game.
Okay, I thought it was sort of middle to late. But
Hold on, I'll clarify that.
Look, that's puntish and it's a bit risky, but I just think it's very vibey, you know, like just a bloke coming back, turning it on.
Fourth game, 3 p.m. Saturday.
Hasn't played footy in a long time.
Amy Park.
Like in first grade, he played Queensland Cup and looked very good. And I don't think he'll miss a beat. Hey, I think if he comes into the squad, I'd be happy to buy him, even if I was like up in the mix trying to make a move. Just because there's so much unknown with him, he'll kick goals, and but you'd need to have him know that he's going to start and be pretty confident he's going to play at least 60 minutes. You know what I mean? Like maybe they give him a bit of a spell at the back just because he might not have the legs in him at that level, but it's risky. But I feel like
I like it, but there's a player I like even more. We have a question here from Matthew C. Hey, lads, my head-to-head final opponent has one main guy I'm worried about not owning. Walsh. Got 2 trades left. Bring in Walsh to be safe or go towards C&K, DWZ, Manu, others instead. I think if you don't have Manu's a good play, but I honestly think if you are scared of this one guy.
If you think your team's stronger than his in a lot of ways as well?
It's just not the way to go. I think being defensive in SuperCoach is such a... it's not fun being defensive. I think just pick who you think's going to score the most points. And if Reece Walsh is that guy, it's a convenient that...
Yeah, but you've got to get the job done. Like, if it's a head-to-head final, you want to get it done. It's the same as like when I was like last round, 2021... I wanted to buy Brian Tottle for emotional reasons.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to have him in my final squad finishing. Thought he was going to have a blinder anyway, but no one really had him. And the best move for me to make was to get Payne Haas. I didn't really want to do it. It was boring.
Went off.
Tottle scored heaps, so I would have been able to win by even more.
I remember I suggested Burton to you as well. Because it was like a Penrith thing. Burton turned up as well. So I think Burton and Toller killed it. Payne Haas went off with an injury like 10 minutes into the game. I remember it. But you didn't care because you're being defensive.
Yeah. So I'd say, look, I don't mind the defensive play, man. Get the job done.
I don't rate it. I think...
You've worked so hard to get into this grand final. If you're worried about Reece Walsh going off and having a big one, block it. The thing is, though, it does seem capped at about 100. So if you...
Yeah. The thing is, I think Reece Walsh he's playing Canberra this week. Yeah. I get why you're scared, but Canberra, it's a do-or-die game. I think someone like Drinkwater is a much better purchase this week against the Dolphins. And I think Drinkwater is the number one target to get in this week.
When does Walshy play? So how early in the round?
He plays pretty late. I think definitely see how you're tracking.
If you think that you've got him beat and the only thing you need to really do is just to block Walsh, like you look like you've got him covered, then I'd just definitely do it. If it looks like you're behind, then I'd probably not get Walsh. But he might be forced to make his decision early because his sell's probably going to be Teddy or Latrell, I'm guessing.
He just said he's got 2 trades.
Yeah.
Or does he get C&K?
Yeah, you can kind of play that one by eyes up SuperCoach.
I wouldn't make the decision early. Just see how you're tracking and you just see how you're going. I think Drinkwater's a play. I think just pick whoever you think's going to score more. And if that's Walsh, then absolutely go for it. Cool. Timmy. So I asked you last week, what decisions have you made throughout the year that you think have defined your season? You've had a bit to think about it?
Yeah. I haven't really spent the week or thinking about it, but you sort of sprung it on me this morning, and then I sort of had to go to my job, and then my job involved me doing a 4-hour drive to Foster and then 4-hour drive back. So I slept most of that. Well, I didn't drive.
How much work did you do?
Not much. I just sat in the car.
Literally like an hour or two.
We
work?
just changed one ride.
Oh right.
Yeah, no biggie.
Ride.
Back to SuperCoach. So yeah, I haven't really put a lot of thought in, but I'm more aware. It's sat with me. So like, I did touch on it last week. Money is one thing. Like I went through and looked at some of my trades for the year. None of them really look like players that I've tried to purchase for money. They all look like I want that player because I think they're going to score more points, and they're a few sideways ones and based on draws and whatever. So not prioritising money really restricted me in the back end, meaning that I could always had to use 2 trades to get one player, and downgrade to a crappy guy that I ended up having to play and stuff like that, just because over the buy period you do that thing, you just end up playing the guys you got. Whereas if I had more money, I would have been able to buy a decent player that was scoring more consistently. But when you go back to it, like just a lot of the 50-50s, there was, to start with, there was Cardi and Dury. I went Dury instead of Cardi. Cardi killed it, got a lot of points, made a lot of money. Dury didn't really do much. Heaps of those 50-50 ones. Buller was one I touched on before. Didn't go him. Went Junior Tupu, which I just really like the look of. And I think he could have a good future for SuperCoach. He does look like a SuperCoach player. But I think the Tigers would need to be playing better footy and getting more attacking points as a team for him to be able to benefit from that. But, missing out on Buller hurt. But the main thing is just over the buy period where I thought I would actually start going up the ranks, even though I buy planned, sort of started going down the ranks because I just really tried to pot up too much. I got really cute. I thought with this season, it just seemed like there was so many options. You could pick anyone. You could literally pick any player and they were a SuperCoach player now. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'll go him then. And I'll go him then. Why go that if everyone's going that? And it was not the play. I think more often than not, go the guy that you think is going to just be the best guy, even if it's boring and everyone else is doing it. Just do it and you'll find ways to be different later in the season. So, yeah, too much of a wacky side. And probably a little bit of a mix of confusing head-to-head and overall and not pulling the triggers at the right time with trades and trying to hold back and then using too many. And, I just didn't. Poor season, just across the board.
It's such a weird one, like... Oh, Jesus. Salmon just went flying. It's such a weird one because, like, you don't want to be boring and go with the pack every single week, but sometimes you just have to do it. You have to swallow your pride and do it.
One that you brought up that I think I have to touch on, sorry to cut you off, is Will Kennedy. That was a really crucial play in the year, going him over Gutho. So that was like a round. I put in my phone. I was going to try to do the maths, but I'm not saying I got around to, but someone who's playing at home might be able to put it in the chat if they want to. So Kennedy from round 15 to round 21, his total points versus Gutho from round 15 to round 21. I think I probably cost myself potentially 300 points.
I'm sure you can talk a little bit while I research it.
Oh, it'll be hard to add that up and then...
No, I'm pretty good at maths.
There you go.
I'm pretty good
so,
at maths.
That was a crucial one. Gutho's done it for me before. I think I didn't trust in a lot of the guys that had done it for me before too. I was kind of like... I just wanted to do something different. I think just trying to be different for the sake of being different, not the way to go.
All right, so he scored 227 points between round 15 and 20. I'm pretty sure you sold him just before the Manly matchup where he scored 111.
Yeah.
So he scored 220 points in 5 games. That's an average of, I think, like 40, 45.
Yeah, it seems like about right, yeah.
So, yeah, there you go, 45.
No, but what did Gutho score? That's the next...
Yeah, I'm getting Gutho's score.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't got Gutho's score.
So that was, like, so many 50-50s. I got wrong. I thought, it's all right, I'll get the next one right. I'll get the next one right. And just, just Tino at the start of the year, going Tino instead of Haas, that cost me, I feel like 20 points every week, to be fair, at that time.
Oh, my God.
Hey, what is it?
So he scored 450 between rounds 15 to 20. And then he scored 115 in round 21. So 450 versus 220.
So it's 200 there.
That's a lot of points in the scheme of things. And as a captain option as well. Like, Will Kennedy was not a captain option. And Gutho, these weeks, he was probably the most popular captain option for at least 2 or 3 of them weeks.
Yeah, so another thing too, I think, which I'm going to be really strict on next year, is those guys that just get stuck in your side like a Pele. Like, I had too many of them, like Sony, Luke, Pele. So there'd always be like one centre as well, like a Howarth. I've had him most of the year as well. So
and then
3
you sold
blokes.
him out and wanted to get him back in. You got him back?
Yeah, I've got him, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I needed to. I was trying to strengthen
You were trying to strengthen your side, and then you got him back.
Yeah, and then I realised I need to actually weaken my side again
So you spent 2 trades on Jack Howarth.
Yeah.
Fuck. Hopefully he gets a gig soon.
I'm a bit embarrassed. Don't have to rub that one in. But yeah, so like a lot of those 3 guys that just not making money, and plus all the other guys that I'm actually buying are not any of them really like guys that I'm buying thinking, oh, this guy's going to make me some money. Yep. And I think the reason I fall into that trap is 2021, there was some points galore year. So if you were getting guys that were scoring points, they were making money too. So I didn't need to be necessarily looking through the thing going, who's got the low BE this week?
I fell into that trap this season as well. And then towards end in the season, I got players like Richie Kenner, Tyrone Munro, just to make sure my cash flow was still going. And I think I clawed myself back because I was looking at my side late in the buy rounds, and I'm like, on a normal week, like, my side does not match up against anyone else's side just because I've got all these buy players who are like not that much money. And then it kind of worked out in the end because the players I did have made their money back. It just seemed everyone I bought Tedesco a few times. I bought Gutho once. I bought Dylan Edwards, and like I bought him pretty expensive, and he went down again. I bought Will Kennedy for like $7.90. He was more than Gutho at the time. Yeah, far out. That's season defining, that one. But we are talking about the fullbacks there. Teddy and Latrell are down. Teddy is the 5th most traded in player at this point. I don't know why, but we need to find replacements for these guys. And I want you to rank these guys. Dallin Watini-Zalesniak against the Dragons, who he scored 4 tries against earlier in the season.
Yep.
Reece Walsh against Canberra Raiders, who leaking points to fullbacks. Not last week because the Bulldogs can't hurt a fly in defense. Scott Drinkwater versus the Dolphins, who the Dolphins are averaging way more than any other team 2 fullbacks. Who they play last week? They played the Tigers. That's not a very good matchup anyway. Joey Manu against the Tigers playing fullback.
Oh, those are some good ones, eh?
Chance playing fullback against St. George. Dylan Edwards against Parramatta. And there's a few other different options in Greg Marju in centre wing. And
I think the one that really, like the ones that stand out to me, there's 3 that really stand out. Dallin, Drinky, and what was the other one? Not too sure what the other one was. So
Manu? Walsh?
Manu, yes,
Walsh?
Manu. Not so much Walsh. Walsh should probably put 4th.
Yeah, I agree.
Great, exciting, pizzazzy, looks fantastic, but just does so much work to get that 100.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Manu can get that, I think, just playing
In
a fullback,
base.
And just doing a couple of he'll have a couple of tries, man. He loves it. You know what I mean? Goes to dummy half, and I dislike the fact that they've got to keep winning, and he's the man now. You know, so with Teddy out, he'll step up and he'll do his stuff. I like him. I think I like Dallin next, just because, just on the back of what the Warriors are doing. He's scoring so many tries, and they look so. You go, all right, this is the play. It's going out to him now, and it just happens, and he just finishes it off so nicely every time. So I like him over Chance as well, just because of
ceiling.
Yeah. And Drinky,
I love Drinky.
Yeah,
this
there's
week.
a good one. That's like those three. If I had to pick one,
Hads really wanted someone big this last week. He got Dallin, thankfully, but I said use your last 2 trades to get Drinky because I absolutely love him this week. Head-to-head finals, I think he has got the best matchup, and he can be the difference for you in your head-to-head.
yeah, I'd be tossing up between Manu and Drinky, I reckon, before Dallin. I can't really split them, eh? I'd probably go... Drinky just because he can pass the ball and set up the try assist a bit more and also go himself.
Yep.
Whereas Manu's got to do the go himself, tackle bus. Yeah, I'll probably go Drinky, hey.
I love Drinky.
Is he super expensive still?
It's $8.74.
It's reasonable if you've got...
If you've got 2 trades, it's enough. So I rank them Drinky, Manu, and then probably Chance, then Dallin. Dallin just had his big week, so I wouldn't be expecting... I mean, I think he can go massive again.
I think they'll just keep going out to him.
Yeah. It's
The Wales love when he scores. The fans love when he scores.
and he's playing at Go Media Stadium. I think there's also the potential of restings next week if the Warriors do lock in a top 4 position. There's a chance.
Whereas Manu and Drinky,
they're playing in Queensland next week. So I don't know if they're going to send their New Zealand stars to Queensland to then come back and then travel for a Sydney finals game.
Yeah, so if you're worried about that for overall, then you'd probably lean
If you are
Manu.
worried at all about overall, then I wouldn't be
Drinky.
going the Warriors. I'd be going the Cowboys. But if you don't give a shit, you just need to win this week. Still Drinky. Still Drinky. All right, I've got a blind rankings for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, so blind rankings, Timmy. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
James Tedesco.
Yep. Okay.
5 players. James,
5.
5 players. So rank them from 1 to 5. James Tedesco is first.
2.
There you go. Tom Trbojevic.
3.
Ryan Pappenhausen.
4.
Latrell Mitchell.
1.
Kalen Ponga.
5. Not completely happy with how that all landed out.
So you've gone Latrell Mitchell, James Tedesco, Tom Trbojevic, Ryan Pappenhausen, and Kalen Ponga.
Yeah.
What's your true ranking for that one?
If I had to swap that around, it's so hard because like they're at different points of their careers as well. Like they're all playing currently.
Yeah.
But like if you asked me 12 months ago, I'd definitely just go Teddy up the top. And I just feel like I've been brainwashed by the media who's telling me that he's not as good as he used to be, but who's ever as good as they used to be.
I don't think the Roosters are as good as they used to be.
So yeah, I'd probably go Teddy, Latrell, Kalen, who was the other? I've got Pappy and
Tommy. Or
yeah,
Pappy?
Tommy then Pappy.
I'd probably agree with you just because Teddy, the resume's there, and then Latrell, he's won comps and he's just plays on the big stage.
He's elite. He's
3 Ponga, I think easily Tommy could be 3 because of his talent and everything else.
Oh,
but
you look him on 2021 season, you're sticking him right up the top.
but I think Kalen just he's got more behind him. Like he's taken his side to finals. Yeah. He's dominated Origins. Oh fuck, Tommy's done these things, but Kalen
he seems like he's got more tricks too. You know what I mean? Like,
it just seems like Kalen just has a bit more longevity about him, whereas Tom Trbojevic.
This is a bloke that was about to have his career put a line through because retired due to head knocks. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
they both.
But then Tommy, like he hasn't been able to play a full season and like bring his side in. Like that 2021 year took his side to a preliminary final. I think that's a good achievement, but the Knights have made the finals a few times with Kalen Ponga. Like they've been there around 8th.
Yeah, I'm not even really basing it on like what they've achieved. I'm just basing it sort of just on them. You know, just that individual.
Yeah.
How I picture them and how like who I'd want in my side, sort of thing, and just who I think's better.
Yeah.
It's hard to base like what they've achieved because a lot of the time it's who's around you too.
I think it is hard to, like, if you're building a team around a fullback, I don't think...
It's very subjective though if you're going to start going, not putting credentials like what they've achieved into it.
I don't actually think I'd put Teddy at fullback. Like, everyone in their prime, I don't think Teddy would be my fullback. I think Teddy was in a great system when he was in his prime. And I think someone like Ponga is the perfect package in my opinion.
Yeah, but at the moment, that's just because he's fresh and new.
Yeah, I know.
People are so about what's current and what's so...
I know that.
Like, you've seen it last week.
I know that. I love the way Tommy and Pappy play too. But I just think Kalen, like, his ball movement's just that much better than anyone's else.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference.
He's sexy footy, you know what I mean? Like the steps, the passes, he's got it all.
And I think for a long time we haven't been able to see his best. And I think everyone's... it's so hard. It's so hard. If they're all at their best right now, it's probably a different conversation, to be honest. All right. I think you've got a...
Oh, I've got a little game for you, yeah.
You've got a start, move, bench cut.
That's right. Okay. Are you ready, Brendan?
I'm ready.
Are you ready, Brendan?
I'm ready.
Oh, because you asked me twice. I just thought I'd ask you.
Yeah, I was just making sure I got the right...
Okay, cool. So you've got, obviously, 4. These are your players. Jimmy Maloney.
Mm-hmm.
Braithen Astor.
Yep.
Todd Carney.
Yep.
And Luke Keary. Start, move, bench, cut.
That's so tough. I think I'd start Jimmy Maloney. I think Jimmy Maloney is just an absolute goat. I would bench... Oh, sorry.
Fits into any structure, doesn't he? You can put him there and he takes you to finals.
I'd move Todd Carney to halfback. Can I do that?
Yeah.
So Carney and Maloney will be my halves pairing. Oh, that's a good halves pairing. Braithen Astor would come off the bench for some impacting. Luke Keary has to be cut. I love what Luke Keary's done, but I think he's just a guy that flourishes in good systems where he doesn't bring the system up with him. And then Astor can play lock, so that's why he's on the bench.
Yeah, nice.
What would you do?
Did you notice a theme in this at all?
Premiership winning 5/8.
I think they are. My history's not so good on
Keary, I don't know. What's the theme? Keary, Roosters players?
Roosters players, yeah. That's it.
Why
yeah.
Roosters?
I don't know. I just picked a theme.
I like it. We got a question from Jay White. Can bring in both Drinky and Walsh this week. Wouldn't mean selling Teddy. We reckon Roosters rest him 2 weeks. Could be killer keeping him if they don't play him round 27.
Yeah, gotta let him go.
I think if you can trade him, just do it. Like, he's playing, even if he does come back, he plays the Rabbitohs in round 27. So
they're definitely going to play him in round 27 if they can clear him to get him through. And they're playing the Bunnies. Like, they need the win.
If they win this week, that game will be to make the finals. Yeah. So I think, and we've got Adam Sargent. Last 2 trades of the year.
Doesn't mean he's guaranteed to play.
Yeah.
It all depends on his, obviously.
Last 2 trades of the year, Adam Sargent, Latrell Mitchell and Cody Walker out. 1.7 million cash. What 5'8" centre wing fullback do I bring in? Have a duel for the centre wing.
Yeah, okay.
I think Drinky and Manu.
Yeah, well, they're the ones we'll sort of...
Drinky and Manu. If you've already got Manu, I'd probably bring in Drinky and... who else has a pretty good matchup? Yeah. I don't know. Cody Walker out, which means you don't have Munster, maybe. I'd get him Munster against the Titans.
Yeah, quiet game last game.
He likes the Titans.
Yeah, I'd probably go Munster too.
Although he's not a pod, so does that matter? I think he's in for a bigger one this week. Timmy, what are your trades this week?
Yeah, haven't had trades for a month.
I was meant to do that
Cheers.
this week. Sorry.
It's disrespectful to DM. It's disrespectful to them, bro.
No trades this week.
Yeah, nice.
No trades. I wanted to do this whole episode in a Spider-Man outfit. You know the Spider-Man meme?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Pull a hammy?
Nah. Turbo hammy. All right, trades, captains.
Oh, yeah, I think it stood out to me early in the round. I think I might go. Oh, it's yuck. Like VC. Oh, it doesn't matter for me because I've got nothing on the line as much. I'm just trying to climb the ranks. So I can be a little fruity. I might go VC Cleary. And then,
I like the captaincy on him as well.
yeah. And then like captain one of the Warriors, but can't do Sean Johnson obviously because half Cleary.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably have to go Dallin for fun, But then there is another game I don't mind, the Storm. Also, Manu. Yeah, actually, I might go Manu. I'm going to go Manu. Definitely going to go Manu.
I think I really wanted to go Cleary straight up, but I think the Panthers always kind of a lot of steps happening outside.
That was really weird. I felt like there was a whisper in my ear, like I was starting to hear voices. Like, is this the moment? Is this it?
There's a lot of steps happening outside. What's going on? Yeah. I think Penrith are waiting for the finals, and I think Cleary's big game isn't coming until the first semi-final. He's going to absolutely brain it. They're just waiting for this finals time.
I don't know. I thought he was.
Or it could be this. This could be the week where he's just like, okay, one final massive game before we go to the finals. You could look at it either way.
Are Para dead? Like they can't make it now.
They can if they win if they win against Penrith.
Yeah, I don't.
But they need
a straight C.
They need to rely on other results.
He's
as well.
good enough for a 90 last week when he wasn't in everything. So why not? Whatever.
I also like Cameron Munster. I know he scored 28 last week, which would haunt some people, but against the Titans, he scored 147 in this coinciding game last year.
It'd be a big balls play. He definitely can score big, but
They love Amy Park.
Yeah.
But he has scored a few line break tries in recent weeks, so I don't know if... And the Titans, they're showing up a little bit. But they can't make finals either. So
the Pappenhausen factor makes me sort of wonder how he fits all in, and is that also a big distraction? And I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't like Munster this round. I still think he'll go all right, but I don't like him as a captain.
Guys, pickle bet on Friday night, most likely. Don't quote me, but most Friday nights they've been doing a first or second try scorer promo bet. So you put $10 on max bet, and you get paid out as a first try scorer if your try scorer scores second. And we tipped everyone off for James Tedesco's first try scorer on Friday night.
Oh, nice.
He scored second, so if you put a bet on him to score first, you would have got paid out as a first try scorer. Make sure when you're going to Picklebet, use the code TURBO when signing up for free and confidential support. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au or call 1-800-858-858. I think that's it.
Who are you captaining? Did you?
I said Manu or Munster.
Okay.
Maybe Cleary. It just depends. Like, I'm in a few cashies, and
I have to wait and see. Probably.
I don't know if I care. If I win them or not.
Okay. All right, Scrooge.
I probably should care a bit, eh?
Yeah.
I just feel like SuperCoach controls your mood a lot, and I'm excited for a break. Like 27 rounds is a lot, eh?
It's a long
season. NBL Supercoach just got announced, and we'll talk about it on the way. The time slots are pretty friendly, and I think I might give it a go. NBL. So it's like the Australian basketball, and I like basketball as a sport. I've never been able to get into it, so maybe this is the way.
Do you have a team?
For what?
Like, do you have a team?
NBA?
Get it? Yeah.
Like
maybe we could get a team that we like. We could support a team and get heaps into it.
I'd love to get into the NBA. I think
Like go to games and stuff and get chance going.
NBA or NBL.
I get them confused, man. I get like
NBL is Australia.
Yeah,
NBA
I know
is,
what I mean, but what I'm saying is a different thing. You know what I mean? You just have to keep up with my pace.
I think it's a bit Magoo. It's a bit Magoo having an NBL side. Like, oh, yeah, go the Melbourne Victory.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't even know the sides, eh? I
Sydney
Googled it.
Kings. Yeah.
Sydney Kings. Oh, could you imagine that? Oh, what are you doing on the weekend? Oh, I'm going to watch the Sydney Kings. Fucking how Magoo is that?
There's nothing wrong with going to do that.
I feel like people give free tickets away to them sort of games.
Yeah.
I want this Supercoach to get me into NBA. Like, I want to use this as a stepping stone because, like, they play on, like, Tuesday mornings.
I
Like,
kind of want to play, but I also want the break. So I'm torn
Yeah,
whether I
same,
want to.
same.
Yeah, I don't know what I want to do.
and then BBL comes. I'd probably play that.
When does BBL start? I'm not BBL guy.
It starts in December. So,
Yeah,
it's not much of a break. They could overlap, actually.
They'd have to.
They nearly would. Fuck, imagine that. That's pretty tough.
It's hectic. You have to get a personal assistant.
For Supercoach?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe some staff.
I couldn't even run two sides, to be honest. Like
Yeah, it's hectic.
I had to start it. I started a team for my wife so I could run some cashies with it, and I made a trade in like the first week.
I forgot about it.
Still got like 40 trades. Maybe I should.
Transfer them over. Just sort of tap your phones hard enough together and hopefully they bounce over.
I think I ran out of boosts though in that one, but still got like 20 trades or something. Fuck, that'd be alright, wouldn't it? What else have we got? So obviously next week is the last Supercoach week to talk about. The overall lead is heating up.
Oh, it's hot.
The top 3 are like within 100 each other, and the top 6 are like within 200. And number 1 is Back to Wolfpack by Sam. It was Mac McClung last week. So that's heating up. I think
Raging Pole just lurking in third, you know.
Raging Pole.
Pole, that's right.
Pole.
Yeah.
I think he's a chance.
I think he's definitely a chance. He's exactly where he wants to be. He's just sort of...
Even, I think Solomon Smith, he's a listener of the show. His wife.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it actually is his wife because he messaged me earlier in the season when...
It's good. Plenty of people get their families involved into it and stuff. I tried to get my family involved in it. They didn't want to play after a couple of rounds because they don't watch the footy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And anyway, he messaged me earlier in the season because his wife, Tessa, is the coach of Blue Reddos.
oh, yeah.
And I think they're in the top 10. They're a sniff. So
luck, everyone.
Solomon, good luck. And good luck to everyone in the top 10 because...
Can I just toot my Rapana horn?
Oh.
I have Rapana. I had Rapana in my side, everyone.
Why didn't you say that at the start?
Toot. I forgot about it.
Oh, you forgot about it?
Yeah, I forgot about it.
Rapana, eh? And you got Liam Howie onto it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he won all his head-to-heads because of it.
Yeah, Liam Howie, number 1 fan of the show, I think, as of this year. He's taken over Snowflakes.
Liam Howie. Maybe he is Snowflakes.
No, he couldn't
One quick
be.
question
Snowflakes has got too much sass.
One quick question before we leave. Are we stacking the centre wings or fullbacks, or reckon split our buyers into fullback and front row, Haas or AFB?
That was too long of a question for me to comprehend. Can you answer that one?
I just think Jay White, I think this time of year, the backs are the bigger upside.
Oh, yeah.
I do like AFB this week. I have a feeling
We didn't score last week. He's very due.
Yeah, he's due. He didn't score last week. He's only scored 8 tries this year.
Yeah, but they've all been since you picked him up.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why it feels like more, eh?
Yeah.
All right. And one thing else before we go, off season. So I talked about next week. Hopefully we can get all the lads in.
That'd be good.
Next week or the week after.
Oh, it's probably not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. Hads is out. Hads is out for the year.
Big commitments.
Big commitments. His child is probably coming soon. Very
I
soon.
hope he calls it Tim.
You reckon he's going to call
I think
Tim?
I've got a good feeling about it, yeah.
Tim Hadley. Tim Hadley.
It's got a ring to it, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I like Tim Hadley. Is it a boy or a girl?
I don't know. I'm not going to assume it's gender
I think
anyway.
it's a girl. I think it's a girl, so I don't think you're in luck there. But yeah, he's out for the season. So hopefully we can get the lads here next week or the week after for our award show. But in the off season, I've already planned some special guests. We're just going to be doing a bit of stuff here and there, bit of BBL, bit of interviews.
Might lurk around the podcast when just after Nico's done his and see if we can drag him on, hey?
Yeah, so we're actually one of our first ones. They can't do Tuesdays because they do their podcast on Tuesdays. So we're going to come in on Wednesday and Nico records on Wednesday.
Sniff the chair after he gets up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. So hopefully if Nico is here, we'll try and get him on.
Mm. See if he wants to run it straight.
He looks very tackleable, doesn't he?
I'd smash Nico. Do you reckon you could smash Nico?
I wouldn't want to. He's kind of like a dog. Like if you
I wouldn't smash Nico.
If you asked to punch a dog or a baby in the face, would you do it?
No.
Like for a lot of money?
No.
No, you wouldn't?
No.
All right. Cheers, guys, and we'll see you next week.